Welcome back to World History. I'm Mr. McCall. Today what we're going to be working on is applying the characteristics of civilization to modern day society. We've talked about what it is required to have a civilization. We have them listed over on the left here: stable food supply, social structure, government, religion, arts, technology, and writing. What we're going to do today is we're going to see if we can apply these to modern day society so we can see if we actually live a civilized life today. So the first one we're looking at is a stable food supply. Stable food supply just means that you have food that is available whenever you need it. All right, so what we have as a picture is a local grocery store in Harlem. Uh, if you have money, there is a Best Yet market where you can go and buy food. It's available to you. As long as you have money, it's available. All right, so it looks like the first one, we've met that. We have a stable food supply. All right, next up is social structure. Now, what I have right here is a social pyramid. We'll talk more about this with the ancient Egyptians, but this is basically a way of thinking of our society. We have at the very top the upper class. These are the people with the highest paid, generally considered most important jobs, highest status jobs. We have the upper middle class, generally well-paying jobs, fairly important. You could think of lawyers, doctors, they would be up in here. We have the lower middle class. Uh, it's a bigger group, not paid quite as well, but still making a living. We have the working class. The working class, uh, generally, these are jobs where uh, people work very hard but don't make as much money as lower middle class or even the upper classes, just based on the jobs that they work. But they make enough to survive. And then we have the working poor. Now, there's a large group here in modern society of the working poor, and the working poor are people that work really hard, but unfortunately the jobs that they're working in do not pay as much. So you could think of somebody that's working at McDonald's. They're just not going to be making that much money. They might be working a lot, but really just based off of the job that they have or the education that they have limited opportunities. And then finally we have the underclass. Now this could be people that are not working, could be people that have been in prison, have felony convictions, could be people that are in prison or on probation, parole, things like that. Uh, Unfortunately, in society today, this group has a very difficult time uh, making a living. But what this does show is that our society is structured. We do have a social structure. So we've demonstrated the second step, social structure. So far, so good. Let's check out government. All right, so this is just a basic diagram showing you the federal government for the United States. We got the Constitution. That you could think of that as like the rule book. All right, that's the rules of the game. And then we have the legislative branch, which is broken into Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. We have the White House, which this would be Barack Obama. Vice President, that would be Joe Biden. And then we have the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court basically decides whether the things that the legislative and the executive branch, the things that they're doing, does it meet the playbook, or excuse me, the rule book? Does it follow the rule book, or is it breaking a rule? If it's breaking a rule, then they say you got to change it. All right? And basically, this is for the federal, this is for the United States government. But our state, New York, would have something very similar to this. The executive in that case would be the governor. But each state has something along these lines. Except for Nebraska, they do something a little different with the legislative. But we won't get into that today. But it does show us an example that we have a government. Next up is religion. We have a couple examples of religious buildings in Harlem. We have a Christian church, and we have a Islamic temple. So we have two examples. Religion in the United States is a system of beliefs about how life should be lived and how humans were created. Art. I think it's very easy for us to find art just walking through Harlem. There's a lot of street murals. Here's an example. So we're covered there. Technology. Remember, technology is just something that helps us get a job done. What I have right here are two iPhones. I believe this is what the iPhone 5 is supposed to look like. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. But I think we can all understand how having an iPhone could help us get a job done. It's technology. And finally, we finish off with writing. I'll pause for a little bit so you can enjoy the comic. So, although we might not all find writing fun, it is something that is definitely all around you in school, and we've got examples of it right here on this video. So the goal today was you should be able to apply the characteristics of civilization to modern day society. Looking down this list, you should be able to pick out examples of how these are around, how these can be seen in society today. We do, in fact, live a civilized life. This has been World History with Mr. McCall. I hope it's been edifying. Take care.